Hey everybody, it's Dr. Cody Rall with Tech for Psych, and this is the ROXiva lamp. Now, the ROXiva lamp is a high-end audiovisual entrainment device that I had a blast using. It uses a stereoscopic technique in which it times the flashing of its LED lights to induce fractal patterns. I mean, it was really like being on a psychedelic experiencing this lamp. So I had a ton of fun using this. Obviously, it has a lot of different other uses like relaxation, meditation, but it was such an enthralling experience to do some of the psychedelic patterns that I was thinking, what is this device doing to my brain? So I really wanted to dive in deeper and use my other gear. And as you know, if you've been watching this channel, I have a lot of gear that can actually track what is happening to my brain as I use this audiovisual entrainment device. Now, the ROXiva lamp has 16 high-powered LEDs, an audio port for your headphones, USB port for loading new experiences, and a 1/4-inch screw to load onto a tripod of your choosing. I ordered this tripod head with a ball bearing from RX that worked really well. It has a 1/4-inch screw that works great with the Manfrotto tripod that I have, and it also comes with screw adapters for your setup if you need them. Now, if you want to lie down and experience the ROXiva lamp, be a little bit more comfortable, try screwing it onto a boom tripod so that you can suspend it above you as you lie on the floor for your experience. Now, I recommend lowering the light intensity to about 45% on the settings because these lights are quite powerful and can overwhelm you if you're not careful. Drink lots of water because the amount of neuronal discharge in your brain is going to work best if you're well hydrated. And if you want to rock out on ROXiva's great audio tracks, you can put the audio level up to 100 on the 0 to 120 scale on the lamp. Now, it has other tracks other than just the psychedelic experiences. It has tracks for focus, for flow state. I'm still playing around with these. For simplicity of this video, we're going to focus on the psychedelic experience, the LSD. Originally, I did a 10-minute control with 10-minute experimental arm. And for the control, I basically was just setting a baseline. I put on the device, I was sitting in the dark in front of the ROXiva lamp, but the lamp wasn't on. Just trying to get a baseline of where my brainwaves were at. And of course, for the experimental arm, I would turn on the lamp, see what the brainwaves did, and then compare the two graphs. I made sure to do the control arm in complete darkness so no light would interfere with my brainwaves and affect the recordings between the control and the experimental arm. And then I found that actually doing a 30-minute recording was actually a better way to compare light on versus light off and make a more interesting graph. The ROXiva lamp actually has a handy countdown timer that I set at 10 minutes. So I was able to start the countdown, sit in the dark with the recording device, and then have my assistant hit the EEG record button on my monitor, Neurosity Cloud, or OpenBCI, depending on what device I was using. And then I would sit and wait for the lamp to actually start doing the strobe effect. Now, the psychedelic session is about 14 minutes long. So by the time we hit the EEG record button, I would have about 10 minutes to sit in darkness, waiting for the lamp to come on, 14 minutes in the experience, and then about 10 minutes after the experience sitting in the dark for my brainwaves to calm back down. Now, I can say just doing the experiment itself was actually a pretty wild experience because I would be sitting there with the device in complete darkness, not knowing really how much time had passed. When I meditate, 10 minutes will go very quickly, but if you're just sitting there in anticipation of something happening on a superficial level, those 10 minutes feel pretty long. And I know that light's gonna come on, I just don't know when. And then boom, when the light and the audio come on from the ROXiva lamp, I could just feel my brain go, whoa, like something's happening here. And then I would go into the experience, which is very enjoyable by itself. The stereoscopic lights do a great job of creating fractal patterns in your visual field to include lattices, tunnels, spirals, and cobwebs, as described by the German psychologist Henrik Kluver. And if you look around with your eyes closed, you actually get a nice variation in colors too. And then what was weird is that after the journey was done, I would be again sitting in complete darkness. It's like the last flashes die down, the audio goes off, and you're kind of just sitting there in pure darkness. And what I noticed is that a lot of the neuronal discharge patterns are still happening on some level. There's a lot of kind of waviness. Even though you're in complete black darkness, it's like you can still tell that your neurons in your brain and the occipital lobe are still stimulated, and they're kind of calming down from the experience. We're going to talk to our ROXiva lamp expert, Raphael, here in a little bit, and what he describes is a complete reset of the brain. And I felt like I definitely experienced that, because when I came out of the experiments, I was like, where am I? It just like took a while for my brain to come back online. And I did notice that my internal thought process had calmed down a little bit. So it could be really good for people that are struggling with worry or rumination. Just using the ROXiva lamp as like a system reset, I think could be really helpful. I also had this weird experience sitting in the darkness where it's like I disembodied a little bit. My body felt like it was stretched. Even though my hands were sitting on my lap, it felt like my hands were very far away and floating in space. In some circles, they call that depersonalization, where you feel like you're not really there, that you kind of been transported to a different space. And I've definitely experienced that in meditative experiences before. So it was really very interesting to be sitting there in the dark after that wild light show and just feeling like my brain was completely reset, and that it had sort of separated from feeling in my body. It could be a little jarring at first, just because you feel like you're kind of floating in a different space.
The folks that make the ROXiva really put their eye on having this be a very robustly built unit. I mean, first of all, you're dealing with very high power LEDs, which create a lot of heat, and they need to blink really fast. So you need all the appropriate technology in there. But also, we wanted to make our product capable of working for the professional that wants to use it, or the client and the individual that wants to use it in their own home. Being in a relaxed state and not thinking about anything actively doesn't mean that you don't have a bunch of garbage running in the background that you didn't put there. And so taking that default mode network offline is one of the biggest things that the ROXiva can help you do. And really, I like to equate it to shaking the Etch-a-Sketch, or, shaking a snow globe. Sometimes you got to just mix things up. You got to create some chaos for things to reorganize in a better pattern. And that's the most powerful thing I think the lamp does, is it really helps you in a controlled fashion shake things up and allow your brain to reorganize in a way that you choose.
Now, as far as the EEG recordings go, I was really happy with them because they showed some dramatic effects. You can see as soon as the light goes on that there's a big alpha blocking effect. The alpha wave just takes a deep dive, and it stays down during the whole light show and goes back up once the lights calm down. You also get these increasing pulses of beta and gamma waves throughout the session. So what I learned is that with the flickering light of the ROXiva lamp, there's a lot more alpha blocking activity in the occipital lobe and more beta and gamma spikes in the frontal lobe. The closer the sensors are to these regions, the more dramatic changes in frequency amplitudes you will have. I think it is an investment because, as I said, it really can reset your brain. And if you enjoy audiovisual entrainment, you can really use it to enhance your meditations, your focus, energize yourself, calm yourself down, get to sleep better. There's a ton of settings on here that could be really worth spend on it. If you own a clinic, I would definitely look into getting this lamp for use with your clients, because I think it could be a really smart investment for a clinic. And as these psychedelic therapies are coming on, it actually can be used for practice before doing psychedelic therapy. Everything with set and setting and integrating the information, this is important to use with the ROXiva lamp as it would be used with a psychedelic experience. So for clinics that are doing ketamine treatment, or even taking a look at doing clinical trials with psilocybin, anything like that, I think this lamp really could prep clients for what they might experience in the psychedelic experience. Obviously, the psychedelic experience is going to be a lot more intense and profound based on the dosing, but the lamp, I think, could do a very good job of prepping people for those experiences. So that was my experience. I hope that you learned something. And if you're interested in the ROXiva lamp, there's a link below in the description where you can go on the landing page that they've created for my audience specifically. Just let them know that Dr. Cody sent you, and there should be some good discussions about if you want to incorporate the ROXiva lamp into your self-improvement or your clinic for your clients. So really fun using those devices with this lamp, and I appreciate ROXiva for giving me the opportunity. This is Dr. Cody Rall with Tech for Psych. Talk to you next time.